How much is it?
I can do that for the best I can do on it is 150 quid.
150?
Yeah, 150 is what I can do on that.
Yes, sold.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
In April 2025, Drew Pritchard dropped an Instagram post that shocked fans around the world. After 14 years and 245 episodes, the face of Salvage Hunters was stepping away. On his Instagram video, he said, "They say all good things must come to an end, and the next series of Salvage Hunters, which we shot last year and airs in the autumn, is my last." The announcement sent ripples through the fan community, with one question dominating conversations: what happens now? But here's the thing. Drew's departure is just the latest shakeup in a show that's seen more cast changes than most people realize. Over the years, beloved faces have come and gone, each leaving their own mark on the series. Some moved on by choice, others were pushed out by circumstances, and a few simply vanished without explanation. So, where are they all now? What happened to the drivers, the restorers, the dealers who made Salvage Hunters what it was? And what does life look like for Drew himself after hanging up his signature black glasses? To answer that, we need to rewind to 2011, when a Welsh antiques dealer with a sharp eye and zero TV experience agreed to let cameras follow him around for what he thought would be a bit of fun. How it all started. Before the international fame, before the 22 million viewers, before anyone knew what architectural salvage even meant, there was just Drew Pritchard and a rundown chapel in Conwy, North Wales. Drew Pritchard was born in 1970 in Conwy, Wales, into a working-class family. His father was a painter and signwriter who loved art, and that passion rubbed off on Drew. But while his dad focused on creating new things, Drew became obsessed with old things: antiques, junk, rust, scrap yards, flea markets. By 15, he was already sketching plans to open his own antique store. At 23, he did something that seemed crazy to most people. He bought a derelict chapel and poured everything he had into transforming it into a collector's paradise. For 2 decades, he worked on that space, filling it with unique pieces from around the world, everything from Mick Jagger's old lavatory to religious relics that fit the chapel's history. In 2011, he saw an ad in the Antiques Trade Gazette asking, "Are you a man in a van, traveling to antique fairs and architectural salvage yards?" He ignored it. A friend showed him the same ad weeks later and pushed him to call. He waited another 6 to 8 weeks before finally ringing them up. "They came up from London," Drew later recalled. "I did a 20-minute piece to camera, and then a year later, they offered me a 10-part deal. We didn't take it seriously and just saw it as a bit of fun." That bit of fun became Salvage Hunters, which premiered on Quest TV on September 21, 2011. The format was simple. Drew traveled the UK looking for architectural antiques and decorative salvage, haggled over prices, brought items back to Conwy, and had his team restore them for resale. What made it work wasn't just the treasures Drew found. It was his knowledge, his personality, and his insistence on keeping it real. "When I got the gig to do Salvage," he said, "I was determined to give as honest a representation of the antiques trade that I possibly could." And that honesty included using his own money. Everything Drew bought on camera came from his own pocket. The TV company paid wages, but all purchases and all risks were his. That made every deal matter, every negotiation genuine. But a show like this couldn't work with just one person. Drew needed help, someone to drive, load heavy items, and keep things moving. That's where his old school friend came in. John T., the disappearing act. John T., affectionately known as T., was Drew's childhood friend. He first appeared on Salvage Hunters in Season 3 in 2013, then again in Season 4 in 2014. But it wasn't until Season 8 in 2016 that he became a regular fixture as Drew's driver and right-hand man. The chemistry between Drew and T was instant. They had that easy banter that comes from decades of friendship. Inside jokes, comfortable silences, playful ribbing. T would drive the van, help load antiques, and occasionally chime in with witty one-liners that had viewers laughing. He wasn't an antiques expert, but he didn't need to be. His role was to be the everyman, the guy who asked the questions viewers were thinking. Fans loved him. Social media lit up with appreciation for T's humor and helpfulness. He appeared in all 10 episodes of Season 8, and those episodes became some of the most popular in the show's history. Then, after Season 8, wrapped in March 2016, T just disappeared. No announcement, no explanation, no farewell episode. One season he was there, the next he wasn't. The speculation was immediate. Had Drew and T had a falling out? Was T sick? Did he quit or get fired? The truth turned out to be much simpler. T had only ever been hired as a guest, not as a permanent cast. His contract wasn't renewed for subsequent seasons. He did make one more brief appearance in Season 14, Episode 15 in 2020, when he and Drew visited a railway honest stockist in Gloucestershire and bought a vintage card table. But that was it. One standout anecdote: Season 16's Scottish Lowlands jaunt, where they hit Butel Castle, and T helped lug a pricey estate find that Drew overpaid for on a whim, £100. More than asking, but worth the story, Drew later laughed. T was there for the highs, like scoring mid-20th century designer furniture in Newcastle, and the lows, like empty van days in Dorset Farms. Fans adored his transformation too. Early episodes showed him carrying extra weight from the road life, but by later seasons, he'd slimmed down through swimming, jogging, and better eats. Proof even salvage hunters evolve. Off-camera, T kept it low-key. He dabbled in acting with a 2008 short, Late Night Burrito Place, playing a dumped boyfriend, but Salvage Hunters was his spotlight. By 2023, T had completely vanished from public life. He's not on social media. There are no interviews, no updates, no public appearances. As one article put it, he's completely off the web and social media, denying all information about his current whereabouts to the public. Some sources suggested he wanted to spend more time with his family after years on the road. Others mentioned he'd been dealing with health issues, including thyroid problems that had affected his weight. But the real answer is simpler. T chose privacy. And honestly, that's his right. For someone who spent years being recognized everywhere he went, stepping away completely makes sense. Fans still post "Bring Back T" comments on Salvage Hunters videos, but the man himself has moved on. With T gone, Drew needed new traveling companions. But before we get to them, there's another key player in the Salvage Hunters story. Someone who was there from the beginning and whose relationship with Drew made headlines for very different reasons. Rebecca Pritchard, the ex-wife who stayed. Rebecca Pritchard wasn't just Drew's business partner, she was his wife. Or rather, she had been. The two married after meeting in the world of property development, where Rebecca had built a career following her years in women's fashion in both the UK and Hong Kong. When Salvage Hunters launched, Rebecca was already deeply involved in Drew's antiques business. Her role on the show was to research the history and provenance of items Drew brought back, figure out restoration costs, and calculate potential profits. Behind the scenes, she also researched items for her own collection and business lines. She was the voice of reason, the one who'd tell Drew when something was overpriced or not worth the effort. Their dynamic worked because they balanced each other out. Drew was all instinct and passion. Rebecca was logic and analysis. Some of Rebecca's best moments came from The Restorers, where she guided a team of skilled craftspeople, like Craig, the upholsterer who brought tired old sofas back to life, and Nick, the sculptor who restored those delicate acrobatic figurines. Away from TV, she kept busy flipping properties in North Wales, buying, renovating, and selling homes, even running a campsite for a while. Her 2011 marriage seemed like the perfect mix of work and life, until it quietly ended in 2023. With an estimated net worth of around $2.5 million from television, property deals, and business ventures, Rebecca's done well for herself. These days, in 2025, she's thriving on her own terms. She's no longer a regular on Salvage Hunters. Her last major appearances were a few years back, but she still pops up on British TV from time to time, often sharing her antiques expertise. But in 2017, their personal relationship ended. They divorced, though the split was handled with remarkable maturity. Unlike most Hollywood breakups, Drew and Rebecca continued working together on Salvage Hunters and the spin-off series Salvage Hunters, The Restorers. "We're still friends and business partners," Rebecca said in interviews, and by all accounts, that's genuinely true. The divorce didn't create on-screen awkwardness or behind-the-scenes drama. They simply shifted from married partners to professional partners and managed it with grace. In 2025, Rebecca continues to run her own business as a dealer, researcher, and finder of decorative antiques. She specializes in sourcing unique items for private clients and interior designers, using her extensive contacts in the world of dealers, restorers, fairs, and auctions. She's also involved in property refurbishments, drawing on her past experience running a campsite, a B&B, and holiday let businesses. She maintains residences in both Chester and London, and while she keeps her personal life private, she's remained active in the antiques world. Her business, FIND by Rebecca Pritchard, continues to thrive, and she's represented by United Agents, a major talent agency. Rebecca's story is a reminder that sometimes the most professional thing you can do is separate your personal feelings from your work. She and Drew proved that exes can stay friends and keep building something meaningful together. While Rebecca brought research and analysis to the show, Drew also needed people who could bring items back to life. That's where the restorers came in. Skilled craftspeople who turned rust and rot into resale value. Craig Hughes, The Upholsterer's Trials. Craig Hughes was a master upholsterer from Colwyn Bay, North Wales. Originally from Manchester, he'd started as an apprentice in the 1980s and opened his own business, Craig Hughes Upholstery, in 1984. By 1998, he'd relocated to North Wales, where he became well known for his exceptional work. Craig was one of those people who quietly became the heart of Salvage Hunters. For 11 years, he brought real craftsmanship and calm energy to a show that could easily have leaned on drama. He wasn't the loudest person in the room, but the moment he started working, you could see why he was there. Whether it was a Victorian armchair on its last legs or a battered old chaise longue, Craig had a way of bringing furniture back to life that felt almost magical. He didn't just repair things, he respected them. Fans loved that about him. His work was beautiful, steady, and real, and he earned a global following because of it. By 2017, Craig's role had grown even bigger. He became a main presenter on Salvage Hunters, The Restorers, where he led viewers through each restoration step with that calm, meticulous approach that had become his signature. His workshop became a place of wonder on screen, a mix of sawdust, fabric, and quiet concentration. People watched because they trusted him. He never made a fuss or faked suspense. He just got the job done perfectly every time. That's what made his departure in 2022 such a shock. After more than a decade, his time on the show came to an abrupt end. The reason? He was told he was too good at his job. As bizarre as that sounds, Craig explained it himself on social media. Apparently, because he rarely struggled on camera, there wasn't enough TV tension. The producers wanted moments of uncertainty, the kind of drama where you're not sure if the restoration will work out. But Craig always made it work. His skill made the jobs look effortless, and while that was great for the furniture, it didn't fit the show's storytelling formula. So, in a twist that almost sounds like satire, his mastery effectively wrote him out of the script. At the same time, Craig was facing serious business challenges. Rising costs for materials, utility bills, and labor were making it increasingly hard to compete with mass producers, churning out cheaper, antique-style furniture. The very industry he'd devoted his life to was shifting under his feet. Then, in March 2022, things went from difficult to devastating. Craig's home near Abergele caught fire, destroying much of what he and his family had built. In the aftermath, he suffered multiple heart attacks, leaving him unable to work for months. It was one of those moments that would break most people, but Craig wasn't alone. His friend Jody Bevan set up a GoFundMe to help cover legal costs and living expenses, and fans from all over the UK and beyond pitched in, raising over £2,500. It wasn't a fortune, but it was enough to keep things moving while he focused on recovery. As of 2025, Craig is still recovering and focusing on his health. His upholstery business, which had been recognized worldwide thanks to Salvage hunters, continues to operate, though at a much reduced capacity. His wife, Nikki, works alongside him, and they're trying to rebuild after years of hardship. Craig's story is a sobering reminder that reality TV fame doesn't pay the bills when the cameras stop rolling. Despite being at the top of his craft, he found himself struggling when circumstances turned against him. With T gone and Craig dropped, salvage hunters needed fresh faces. In 2023, that search led to 2 dealers who brought different energy to the show, and who would eventually carry it forward when Drew stepped away. The new generation, Vicky Knott and Alistair Dryburgh. When John T. left in 2023, the production team at Curve Media went looking for replacements. They found 2. Vicky Knott, an antiques dealer based in Edinburgh, Scotland, and Alistair Dryburgh, a dealer from Capel Bangor near Aberystwyth, Wales. Alistair's story is particularly interesting. He'd spent 17 years as a postman in rural Ceredigion, buying and selling antiques as a side hustle. "I used to pick up some amazing stuff on the rounds," he told North Wales Live. "You get to know people because people trust their postman. You can ask them, 'How much do you want for that in the shed?'" He'd known Drew for 20 years, long before Salvage Hunters was even a concept. Before mobile phones were on the scene, Alistair recalled, "If I had something for sale, I had to take a picture of it, process it, and post it to him." About 20 years ago, Alistair took the leap to become a full-time antiques dealer. He started with fairs, then opened West Wales Antiques in Capel Bangor. During the pandemic, he became a hit online by holding Sunday sales from his garden on Facebook and Instagram. The production team noticed. When they were looking for T's replacement, they called both Alistair and Vicky in for interviews. "They could not separate us," Alistair said, and decided to use us both on alternative weeks. The arrangement worked brilliantly. "It keeps it fresh, and we all buy on different levels," Alistair explained. "Vicky, although she probably hates me saying it, buys the lower-end stuff, I'm middle of the road, and Drew buys the higher-end stuff. I can see why they did it because there is something for everyone then." Both Alistair and Vicky brought something valuable to the show: authenticity. Like Drew, they used their own money for every purchase. Every item they bought was a genuine risk. "That makes it real because we don't want to lose money," Alistair said. "Drew says, 'This isn't bargain hunt.' We keep it real, and he is really proud of that." The transition wasn't without pressure. It is amazing how many people do miss tea, bring back tea. But there you go, Alistair admitted. But he handled it with humility and good humor, acknowledging the show's legacy while bringing his own personality to the screen. In 2025, both Alistair and Vicky continue to appear on Salvage Hunters. Alistair still runs his exchange stores shop in Capel Bangor, open Fridays and Saturdays, and shares finds on Instagram at West Wales Antiques. He's also launched a new venture, live speaking events where he talks about his life and career in antiques. Vicky, based in Edinburgh, continues dealing antiques while appearing on the show. Together with Alistair and a third new dealer, yet to be officially announced, they're carrying Salvage Hunters forward into its post-Drew era. Which brings us back to where we started, Drew's departure. After building an empire, becoming a household name, and proving that antiques could be both entertaining and profitable, why walk away now? Drew's new chapter. Drew's announcement in April 2025 made it clear he wasn't retiring from antiques. He was retiring from television. "So, what am I going to do next?" he said. "Well, I'm just going to continue what I've always done, which is to continue antiquing, and I'm going to carry on messing around with my old cars, and I'm going to finish my house." That house is a Georgian townhouse in St. James's Square, Bath, Somerset. Drew bought it 2 years ago after selling his 1820s townhouse in Conwy. The Bath property became the subject of a spin-off series, Salvage Hunters, Georgian House Restoration, which aired in late 2024 to early 2025. The restoration project is massive. The Grade II listed building from the 1790s had been converted into flats, and Drew is determined to recreate its original, late Georgian feel. He's consulted with historic building experts, including specialists from the Brooking Collection, who helped him source period-appropriate door handles, locks, and architectural details. In addition to the house restoration, Drew opened a new antique store in November 2025. Not in Wales, but in Tetbury, Gloucestershire, a town known as the capital of antiques in the Cotswolds due to its high concentration of antique shops. The move makes strategic sense, positioning him closer to Bath and within a major antiques hub. Drew has also announced a series of live speaking events in March 2025, his first attempt at public appearances beyond television. "I've never done anything like this before," he said, "but I'm thrilled to tell you all about my passion and love of history, architecture, interior decoration, antiques, great and small, classic cars, music, finding lost pieces, my greatest discoveries, and everything else in between." At 55, Drew has built a legacy that extends far beyond television. He transformed how people think about architectural salvage, proved that antiques could appeal to younger generations, and created a global phenomenon that attracted 22 million viewers in 52 countries. "The production team on Salvage has been like a family to me these last 15 to 16 years, he said in his farewell message. "In fact, there are many crew who have been with us from day one. That is a very special and rare thing in television." He closed with gratitude. "It's been an incredible privilege for me to grace your screens, and I can't really thank you all enough for it." The show goes on. So what happens to Salvage Hunters after Drew? The show continues, now fully in the hands of Alistair, Vicky, and the new dealers joining the team. Season 20, Drew's final season, aired in autumn 2025, and Season 21 is already in production without him. Drew himself expressed confidence in the transition. "The program is now in the very safe hands of some really good dealers, some good friends, Al and Vicky, and one new dealer that's not been announced yet. Please give them a chance, okay, like you did with me. Trust me, please do. It'll be worth it." The show's format remains the same. Real dealers, using their own money, taking real risks. No scripted drama, no fake reactions, just genuine antiques hunting. It takes all day to film 10 to 15 minutes of TV, Alistair explained. It is totally live. The cameras are always rolling. There is no cut. Alistair, stop there. Do that again. It is totally real. Curve Media, the production company, clearly believes the formula works with or without Drew. The show has survived cast changes before, from the arrival and departure of John T. to the addition of new restorers and dealers over 20 seasons. It's proven remarkably resilient. What we've learned. The story of Salvage Hunters and its cast is really a story about change. How some people handle it, how others resist it, and how the best shows evolve while staying true to their core. John T. chose privacy over fame, walking away completely and living life on his own terms. Rebecca Pritchard showed that professionalism and maturity can triumph over personal heartbreak. Craig Hughes faced devastating setbacks but continues to practice his craft. Alistair and Vicky stepped into massive shoes and proved worthy of filling them. And Drew Pritchard built something so solid that it can continue without him. In 2025, the Salvage Hunters family is scattered across the UK, each pursuing their own path. Drew is restoring his Georgian dream home in Bath and opening new ventures. Rebecca is running her antique sourcing business between Chester and London. Craig is recovering and rebuilding in North Wales. Alistair is splitting his time between TV and his Capel Bangor shop. Vicky is dealing from Edinburgh, and T? Well, T is wherever he wants to be, away from cameras and public attention. The show that started as a bit of fun in 2011 has become a cultural phenomenon that changed how Britain and the world thinks about antiques. It proved that old things matter, that craftsmanship has value, and that there's genuine treasure hiding in unexpected places. Most importantly, it showed that the best television doesn't need manufactured drama. Sometimes, just showing people who are genuinely good at what they do, making real decisions with real consequences, is enough. That honesty, that refusal to fake it, is what made Salvage Hunters special. And it's why the show will continue, even as its stars move on to new chapters. If you enjoyed this deep dive into what happened to the Salvage Hunters cast, hit that like button and subscribe for more updates on your favorite TV personalities. Drop a comment below. Which cast member do you miss most on Salvage Hunters? And are you excited for the show's new era? Let's talk about it.